Step into the world of Netflix's hit series Narcos, where fact meets fiction in a dance of fame, hits, and controversy. Netflix embarked on a journey mirroring Escobar's thrilling life. In 2015, when Narcos hit the screens, it was a collision of worlds. Praise showered Netflix for its research and Brazilian filmmaker Jose Padilla's artistic touch. But the devil might be in the details. We'll be unveiling the hidden truths, over-dramatized realities, cartel secrets, and the untold side of Escobar in this spoiler-packed expose. Discover the 10 secrets Netflix is keeping about Don Pablo Escobar. Narcos' original plan. Netflix initially had big dreams for this story. They wanted it to be a blockbuster movie, not just your regular TV show. But guess what happened when they started poking around the life of the legendary Coke King? A single movie wouldn't do justice to the insane riches saga that unfolded. They stumbled upon wild stories, starting with a guy named Cockroach who, believe it or not, used to steal gravestones before diving into the smuggling game. As if that wasn't enough, DEA agents Steve Murphy and Javier Peña spilled their guts, sharing personal experiences that left the producers shocked. Suddenly it was clear, Netflix knew zilch about Escobar. And that's how the epic Narcos was born. Now let me tell you, Bernardo Aparicio Garcia, who grew up around Escobar in Colombia, was vibing with the show. He's all about the details, loving how they nailed the ethnic diversity, and even those tiny things like the cute little colonial village houses hanging on the walls in Pablo's mom's crib. It's like Netflix did their homework, and it's paying off big time. The show's incredible attention to detail stems from Pablo Escobar's passion for documenting every aspect of his life. Escobar firmly believed in keeping records, going so far as to videotape events. These recordings provide a vivid portrayal of the conversations, fashion, and daily activities in Escobar's world. However, the series presents a somewhat different image, depicting Escobar as a brooding figure lost in thought about his next strategic move in the war with his government. The reality is more intriguing. Escobar actively contributed to the show's production. The Medellín cartel, demonstrating a keen interest in media, incorporated some of his actual recordings into the series, showcasing the events. Escobar wasn't just a passive observer. He was known to buy or even kidnap news reporters to ensure his story was told. Family opinion. Ever wondered if what you saw about Pablo Escobar and his family on TV was the real deal? Pablo's brother, Roberto, was not feeling the show. And hey, if you're watching and wondering, where's Escobar's brother? Surprise, he was not just Pablo's sibling, but also the money guy for the cartel. Imagine his shock when they slapped another guy called Blackbeard with handcuffs on screen, making him spill the beans about the cartel. Roberto wasn't having it. He slammed the streaming giant with the demand for a cool $1 billion. He stated, "You didn't even ask us before using our faces in your show." And get this, it was only the first season. Roberto even offered to fact-check the next season before it aired. Meanwhile, Pablo's other family members weren't thrilled either. Escobar's gruesomeness. Watching the show, you start to grasp that Pablo Escobar was one scary person. Speaking at conferences in Lithuania, Agent Steve Murphy spills the beans about how, before Escobar, law enforcement had no clue about narco-terrorism. Narco-terrorism involves using violence to twist government policies against drug laws. Murphy claims that Escobar was the pioneer narco-terrorist, and honestly, the show backs that up. It vividly portrays how Escobar had no doubts about ordering hits, yet surprisingly, his dealings seemed a tad less lethal. Sure, he had a thing for knocking off folks like Moncada and Galliano, but in his everyday life, Pablo's painted as a troubled family man. But hold on, the real deal is darker. First-hand accounts spill the tea that Pablo, the drug lord extraordinaire, wasn't exactly a softie. Informants spilled the beans that if he felt like it, Pablo would personally drill into his enemies' kneecaps. He even sewed cocaine into pets headed for Miami. An informant at one of Pablo's bashes spilled the wildest story. A waiter got caught swiping silverware, and what does Pablo do? Duct tapes the poor soul, tosses them in a pool, and the partygoers cheer as they drown. Then there's the whole saga about him offing every architect who built his hundreds of houses. The poor Italian architects were silenced to protect the secrets of his estates. And wait for it, Escobar's cruelty goes beyond what Narcos shows. Childhood friends Moncada and Galliano get killed, and their families, they get the guy's fingers in the mail. Bernardo Aparicio Garcia spills that Narcos doesn't even scratch the surface of Escobar's gratuitous cruelty. Makes you wonder, what else did this guy do that we don't know about? M19's true nature. Let's talk about M19, the guerrilla group featured in Narcos. Now, when it comes to M19's true colors, opinions tend to clash among experts. M19 was one of the big shots in Colombian guerrilla circles, championing left-wing nationalism, Bolivarianism, and revolutionary socialism. Sounds like a plot straight out of a movie, right? But here's the twist. In the show, M19 gets painted as a bunch of starry-eyed idealists stumbling through guerrilla warfare under the leadership of an ex-college professor. M19 wasn't just another group. They had a grip on Colombia that sent shivers down people's spines. Leonardo Aparicio Garcia shared a bone-chilling tale of his aunt narrowly escaping the Palace of Justice attack. He emphasizes, "It wasn't just my family in Cali. They were genuinely powerful and knew how to instill fear." Enter Ivan Marino Espina, or as the show calls him, Ivan Torres. Before becoming M19's top dog, Ivan had been through the ringer in Venezuela, facing arrests and torture that pushed him to the brink of suicide. He escaped, pulling off a daring impersonation of an army major. They even nicknamed him Ivan the Terrible for his less than diplomatic approach. The show might have played loose with the facts. Rumor has it that Pablo Escobar might not have offed Ivan, and some skeptics even question if he handed over Bolivar's legendary sword. Pablo's relationship with his family. The movie makers didn't bother to check in with Pablo's family, a major plot twist that left the family tree out of the storytelling equation. Now, no family link got more twisted in the retelling than Pablo's connection with his son, Juan Pablo, who goes by Sebastian Mariquin these days. Sebastian has kicked the drug trade curb and spilled the tea on his life as the spawn of the top drug lord in countless interviews. Sebastian told Pablo's favorite drug, hint, it's marijuana, and cheekily suggested reaching out to him for advice on trying any mind-altering substances. Surprisingly, this unconventional education didn't push Sebastian into the drug scene. Credit that to some family history, wisdom, or the tales of a relative scarred by substance abuse. But the real heartstring-tugging moment comes when Sebastian recalls him and his mom practically on their knees, begging Don Pablo to ease off the Colombia chaos, especially after a bombing incident that left his sister Manuela permanently hard of hearing. Their pleas, however, fell on ears seemingly immune to empathy, as Juan Pablo reveals his father's knack for being a sore loser, going as far as cheating his own kids in games like Monopoly, just for the sweet taste of victory. The show might paint Juan Pablo as a wide-eyed innocent, even during a call moments before his father's death, but the reality was different. By the time his dad met his end, Juan Pablo was a 16-year-old. Secrets of La Catedral. Let's step inside the secrets of La Catedral, the luxurious hideout featured in the show Escobar's 5-star prison. Remember those mysterious recordings we hinted at earlier? In the movie, Escobar leaves behind a book filled with pictures, offering a glimpse into his world. However, the real shockers came from Agent Murphy and Peña's first-hand account in Manhunters, How We Took Down Pablo Escobar. They stumble upon a film canister in Escobar's trash, and upon developing the film, they uncover wanted posters featuring the infamous drug lord. Peña reveals an astonishing collection of every poster issued against Escobar in Colombia and practically every article ever written about him. Escobar's nature extends to his files, where he preserves threatening notes from enemies. Even the bathroom of La Catedral, described by Peña as curiously sparkling with 3-inch walls, reflect Escobar's tidy habits. But the discoveries don't end there. Imagine stumbling upon letters from mothers offering their daughters to Pablo for sex, lace negligés, and an assortment of neatly arranged vibrators and sex toys in a closet. The book unfolds with one intriguing detail after another, including the surprising revelation that Peña himself slept in Escobar's bed. He recounts the restless night spent tossing and turning, unable to find sleep in the notorious drug lord's bed. The story of La Catedral goes beyond the screen, revealing a world of opulence, secrecy, and shocking revelations. Carlos Leder's influence. Carlos Leder, the son of Klaus Wilhelm Leder, a German who ventured to Colombia, changed his name to Guillermo Leder, and tied the knot with a Colombian named Helena Rivas. Carlos and his mom set off for America after his parents split, but destiny took an unexpected turn, landing Carlos behind bars. It was within those prison walls that he crossed paths with George Jung, a fellow inmate. Together, they concocted plans to revolutionize the cocaine trade, devising schemes to transport drugs to the United States via small aircraft. Carlos had already dipped his toes into the business before encountering Pablo Escobar, playing a crucial role in Escobar's rise to immense wealth. Carlos himself later became a billionaire, astonishingly offering to pay Colombia's external debt twice as part of a plan to evade extradition. Escobar's suicide. If you're familiar with Pablo Escobar's story, the idea of suicide might sound surprising when linked to his death, but hold on, because this tale takes an unexpected turn. The claim that Escobar took his own life comes from none other than close family members, particularly his son Juan Pablo. Firstly, Juan Pablo reveals that his dad always emphasized the danger of phones, considering them as tools that could lead to death. Escobar, being aware of law enforcement monitoring, avoided long phone conversations. The second point revolves around Escobar's family facing rejection from Germany and finding refuge in a Colombian hotel owned by the armed forces. This suggests that safety was elusive and hotel phone lines were likely tapped. The third and perhaps most intriguing point is that Escobar had taught his son how to end his own life in case of capture. Juan Pablo claims his father believed that shooting into the right ear was a quicker and less painful way to die than facing torture. Now let's rewind to the final moments of Pablo Escobar with these points in mind. As Escobar speaks with his son about an interview, Juan Pablo realizes the danger of the call being intercepted. Meanwhile, Colombian authorities, including Colonel Martinez and Lieutenant Martinez, use directional finding gear to track any phone signals. As the police gather forces and storm the house, Escobar ends the call abruptly saying, "Something strange is happening here, I'll call you back." The ensuing chaos results in Escobar's bodyguard, Limon, being killed and Escobar himself being shot multiple times on the roof. In a post-mortem examination, a bullet wound was discovered in Escobar's head, specifically in the right ear. Isn't it suspicious that Escobar was found and precisely killed a day after his birthday? It almost feels like someone organized a Last Supper, a final laugh before the curtains closed on his notorious chapter. Wagner Moura's pro-drug stance. Wagner nailed his portrayal of Pablo Escobar in Narcos. The Brazilian actor not only received applause for his performance, but has become so closely linked with Escobar that you can find his pictures on Google alongside the notorious drug lord's name. Interestingly, they share more than just looks. Wagner, inspired by his time as Escobar, strongly advocates for the legalization of drugs like cocaine. Imagine a world where cocaine is legal. Wagner believes that in such a scenario, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria would be hailed as an entrepreneur who rose from nothing, generously aiding the less fortunate. Most of the violence associated with Escobar, according to him, would have been avoided. And with this, we reach the end of today's video. What do you think about today's video? Share your opinion. Do let us know in the comments section below. And if you liked today's video, give us a thumbs up and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Share this video with your friends and family and press the bell icon for more upcoming videos. We'll see you next time with a new video. Stay tuned and take care.